Happy Monday and welcome to Casting the Net, Reeling in Holistic Health, where we care about your mental health and well-being. I'm your host, Coach Rice, and I want to make sure that you tune in every Monday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, where I have my special guest on to talk about real issues that matter most. I want you to check us out on YouTube, Facebook Live, on Business Facebook page, also on the Be Awesome Network. Stay tuned. I think you're going to really like this next guest.
Welcome to Mondays with Coach Rice. It's a brand new week, the sun's shining bright, a chance to cast your net, step into the light. Life's full of challenges, it's a winding stream, but with Coach Rice, you'll find your dream.
Happy Monday and welcome to Casting the Net, where we care about your mental health and well-being. I'm your host, Coach Rice, and today I have a special guest, and we're going to talk about food and mood. Anyway, her name is Jayne Reynolds. She is a mental health nutrition coach and founder of Sycamore and Sage Nutrition. So, Jayne, where are you from, and how did you embark upon this journey around health and nutrition?
Yeah. So you asked, where am I from? The accent might give it away. I was born and raised in England, but I'm living in Mesa, Arizona now and have been here for 30 years. So it's been a longer this side of the pond than that side of the pond.
Okay.
Um, I got into what I'm doing today because I got really, really sick. And I think a lot of us as healthcare providers have been through some sort of journey of our own that's triggered us down this pathway that we found a solution. And then once you find the solution, you want to be able to help other people with the struggles that they're having too.
So
So,
true.
yeah. So I had an E. coli infection after the birth of my first daughter, and I ended up
Mm.
hospitalized for 3 days. They gave me 7 bags of antibiotics in that 3 days, and they decimated my gut bacteria. And we didn't really know back then about the connection between how the gut functions and how it impacts our mood and the correlation between that gut-brain connection. So we didn't know anything about reseeding. We didn't know anything about good probiotics. I was just sent home. And a couple of weeks after that, I started having some mild anxiety attacks. Those slowly escalated over the course of 7 years until my anxiety and depression was absolutely debilitating. I was in bed. I would have multiple anxiety attacks a day. They would last, maybe 1 to 2 hours at a time. And I was really at this point of desperation. I had prayed and prayed and prayed, asking for solutions and for answers. And a friend reached out to me and said, "Listen, I see you having, you're doing benzodiazepines, you're doing SSRIs, you are doing talk therapy, but you aren't getting better. Perhaps you should try and see my
Mm.
naturopath." And so I went to see her, and she did a couple of things, one of which was neurotransmitter testing. Nobody had looked to see what was going on inside my brain. So there was
Wow.
a fascinating process, and it was helpful. She put me on some tyrosine to help support my mood, and it made some difference, but the anxiety
Okay.
didn't go away. And then another holistic practitioner suggested going gluten-free. And after I did that, I committed to it. It took two weeks to decide to do it because it's in everything and it's really hard.
Right.
But yeah, once I'd committed to do that, I woke up about 7 days later and thought, I haven't had an anxiety attack for a whole week. And
Oh,
I had
wow.
been having them for 7 years. So at that point, I'm going, what else don't I know about my body, how it works, what's impacting my brain function? This had felt so intangible. I didn't know how to fix this. It was not as obvious as a broken arm. We know what to do for that. And then all of a sudden, I had these answers, and it made me just want to go digging. So I went back to school. I got board certified in holistic nutrition. I've been through the Academy for Addiction and Mental Health Nutrition. I've been through Amen Clinics and done his brain health certification. And I'm now a part of the American Association of Christian Counselors, and I'm doing their mental health coaching program. So all of these different pieces just keep coming together and propelling us down this path of bringing all these nutritional pieces to the puzzle. Therapy is still important. Sometimes medication is still important. And there are many other modalities, whether it's acupuncture or massage therapy. All of those things are helpful for mental health. I'm a piece of the puzzle. But nutrition is, to me, one of those foundational pieces that we don't talk about, even though it's something that we do 3 times a day for most of us, right? We're eating all day
Right.
long, putting things in, and they're directly impacting the way our brain's functioning.
Wow. That is that's interesting because you said that it was your gut health that was
Hmm.
actually causing issues.
Yes. Yes,
And
there's
you
a
when you and when you it's interesting how you did gluten free and the changes that it how it impacted your mental health as well. So
yes.
when it comes to your gut health, what did you change to fix that?
Yeah, so initially I simply took out foods. I did some delayed food sensitivity testing because I went to the naturopath and said, well, if gluten's doing this, an elimination diet takes about a month to figure out whether or not something's working or not. And then you can
Okay.
have crossover, right, too. So I took gluten out, but if I'm having similar effects from dairy and I take the gluten out and I don't really notice any difference, and then I've taken the dairy out, but I don't really notice the difference with it because I'm having a problem with gluten and dairy, right? Then it's easier to just test than guess all of these things. So we did delayed food sensitivity testing, and I had a handful of food sensitivities at the time. And so I just took them out at that point. But since then, I've started doing a lot of work on my gut. So it's been a whole process. It's included probiotics. That was a really important part for reseeding all the good bacteria inside my digestive tract over the seasons, because that was 21 years ago now. I've been through different things. I went through toxic mold exposure for a while, and
Mm,
that messed everything back up again. So
wow.
I've gone through, I've done IgG powder. That's been incredibly helpful. I've done mastic gum. That's been incredibly helpful. So, and then olive irex or olive leaf extract, some of these natural botanicals that help to settle the digestive tract down, keep the bacteria or the fungus from overgrowing, and then sealing up the holes. So when we're working with somebody in the practice, we're working on removing foods that are causing inflammation. We're working on resealing the leaky junctions inside the digestive tract. And then we're working on reseeding with good probiotics while also at a different point in the day dealing with any overgrowth of anything that isn't helpful. Just with antivirals, antibacterial, but herbal remedies, not usually medication. Every now and again, something will come up that's so tough, it just won't budge without going and getting medication to help deal with it. But that is, I have a practitioner that I work with in town who can help me with those things if I've got somebody who's really stuck.
Oh, okay. Because if you have toxins in your gut with bacteria, that causes a lot of problems, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it can do. And it depends on the severity. I mean, I've had people in my office who've shown up with E. coli when we've done testing, and I just usher them over to the doctor's office to let them help out with those serious things. But sometimes it's just an overgrowth of what we call dysbiotic flora. So it's the bad guys. They're an overgrowth, and they're not, they might be causing tummy cramping or occasional constipation, diarrhea, or something like that. I was diagnosed also not long after my daughter was born with ulcerative colitis. And so over the years, the help for that has been mastic gum. It has been incredibly helpful over the years to keep that under control. And so there are a lot of things that exist in the medicinal world that can help with those things, no doubt. But there are also a lot of things in the herbal world that do the same job without decimating the good bacteria. Like everything I'm doing, I would do it if I really had to, but I avoid antibiotics at all costs because they wipe
Right.
out the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. And I'm interested in trying to keep my commensal, my good bacteria, in as healthy a balance as possible after everything that I've been through throughout the years.
So you do need some type of bacteria, but
Oh, yes, we need
yeah,
all kinds of
okay.
good. Yeah, and the reason we need it is because they make most of our neurotransmitters. So 90% of your serotonin is made inside your digestive tract. 60 to 70% of your dopamine is made there. And many of your GABA receptors begin in that space too. So if you haven't got good flora, good bacteria inside your digestive tract, then you will not have a healthy mind. Your brain will be you'll be sad and unmotivated and anxious. And we've done studies. We can see that in rat models where we have taken away their good bacteria, flooded them with bad bacteria, and we watch them all get depressed. And then we've done fecal transplants in the rats. That's a whole nother topic, but they've done
Wow.
it in the rats and they've brought back good mood by giving them good bacteria, healthy bacteria. And likewise, when you see, I've seen clients who've gone through having partial parts of the digestive tract removed because of cancers or whatever else, it impacts the way their brain functions.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell us, do you have a client story that illustrates how you have improved their gut health and transformed their well-being in your practice? Do you have a specific story you would like to share?
Specific story. Well, I think I'm trying to think back. If we're talking about gut health on a specific level, that happens many, many times. It
Oh,
just sort of resolves itself with most clients. It's stunning to me. I spoke to somebody the other day who's like, "Well, I go to the bathroom, like I poop, like 2 times every week or every 2 weeks, which just isn't going to the bathroom enough." So we're always
right.
working with all of the clients on restoring their digestive health so that they're able to go to the bathroom at least once a day, so that they've got enough good fiber, enough probiotics from their food that's, different foods that are rich in fibers. We're impacting all of those things all of the time. And
Okay.
those are some of the first things to resolve themselves once they start eating a healthier diet. That's across the board. That's one of the first things that we're working on. The other thing that I
Is the
see
healthy diet.
is the healthy diet. Yeah,
Okay.
just, yeah, yes, out of the gate. Blood sugar regulation is another huge piece of that. And I have so a lot of people come saying, I've got diabetes, I want to get that under control. And they find out that's impacting their mood as well.
Right.
So I had a client, his name was Dan. And he came to me for all of his digestive and blood sugar regulation issues. And just like 2 weeks in, he's already working on reducing his insulin. He is keeping his blood sugar stable throughout the day. And what he came back and said was, I hadn't told you this, but I was so angry and so upset and so easily frustrated all of the time. I was on the brink of going to see somebody for my mental health. And I don't understand why, but changing my diet has gotten my mood into such a better place that my employees have noticed. Hey
Wow.
Dan, you're in a better mood at work. What's going on?
I can
We
see
didn't do
that. I
any
can see that.
Right, we didn't do anything specific, but he wasn't not for mood. We did specific things to help regulate his blood sugar, and all of a sudden he was far less volatile all day long. So, yeah, and I've
Mm.
seen these delayed food allergies impacting gut health over and over again. And when we take them out, they impact brain health and people's brain health settles down as well. So it's sometimes it's hard to pick out one person and say they had this success with their gut health just because across the board we're working on
Right.
cleaning that up for everyone.
Okay. So walk us through your onboarding process as and when a client wants to see you.
Yeah, so I have a pretty comprehensive intake process because I come at it from both a traditional Chinese medicine and a Western medicine point of view. So we're going to test and we're going to check and see where things are at. And to do that, I send you a list of labs that your doctor can help you order with insurance. Some doctors are great and they'll just do the whole list. Some are like, well, we'll do some of these things, but not the others. And then we can help them get the rest done. I can help them get the rest done. So we're looking at everything from CBC to CMP to lipid panel, but we're also looking for things like, do you have enough B12? Do you have enough folate? What are your zinc to copper ratios? Um, what's your omega-6 to omega-3 ratios? So we're looking at all of these nutrients that can impact the way the brain is functioning. And then once I have those, I also send them for delayed food sensitivity testing because that is something that can drive horrendous mood disorders all the way up to schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. So we want to take out anything that's driving inflammation inside the brain. And
Hmm.
then we will, depending on their symptoms and where their budget's at, I can either do a sort of an organic acid test that looks at the byproducts. So when our body is doing all these chemical processes, it's got a lot of byproducts that come from it. And we can look at those and see what's going on with your energy cycle and with your neurotransmitters and some of those other pieces with the gut flora. So we might do that one. But if we've got a ton of gut symptoms, then we're going to do a comprehensive stool analysis with parasitology. We're going to have a look at some of the bacteria, the good guys, the bad guys, what's going on
Wow.
inside the digestive tract. So it's fun.
That's a very comprehensive.
Yeah, we might look at cortisol levels. Is your energy up? Is it down? We do all kinds of just different specific pieces to get a bio-individual look at what is going to help you to get better. Instead of just saying everybody should be on a keto diet, everybody should be on
Right.
a low carb diet, everybody should be on the Mediterranean diet. Mediterranean diet's great unless you're allergic to milk, unless you're allergic to bread, because it's just
Okay.
chock full of it, right? So paleo's wonderful diet as long as you're not allergic to coconut because they replace everything with coconut. So we need to be able to find something that works for you so that you feel better. And you're not trying, if you've tried 101 different things and it's not working for you, then let's have a chat because maybe we just need to figure out what your specific nuances are.
Wow, that's very comprehensive. That's very client centered. That's awesome,
Yeah.
actually. Which is needed. Do you take insurance for clients because you're dealing with blood work, or how does that work?
No, so the couple of big tests that I mentioned, the delayed food sensitivity test, the comprehensive stool analysis, are not typically covered by insurance. So they're an out-of-pocket cost. That's why I ask clients, if you want to take this lab list to your doctors and see what they can cover, let's do that because I'm all about trying to help you save money where you can. And
Okay.
then I do not take insurance. And the reason for that is because I do not want to be under the gun for my appointments and my billing. I don't want to spend 15 minutes with you. I just had an intake call last Monday that was 90 minutes. I'm just sitting and listening. I want to know what your history is. I want to know what point you stopped feeling the way that you do. I want to know what foods you've already noticed are triggers or what environmental issues already cause you triggers. I want to take time and look at graphed out symptomology tests that questionnaires that we've done together. And I want to be able to take the time to do that with you, which is what is lacking, not because of our doctor's fault, but because the system's set up poorly to focus on our whole well-being. It takes a long
Right.
time to look at the whole human being and what's going on with all of these different systems.
Because we're so complex.
We are.
And so, what if they do not know what foods are causing it? Do you have them do a food journal? Do you walk them through that? What do you do? What's the next step when they don't know?
Yeah, we do the food sensitivity testing. That delayed food sensitivity testing contains 180 different foods. So
Mm,
if we do that, we send the lab kit to your house. It's a finger prick test. So you just poke your finger and you can squeeze the blood drops out onto the card and send it back to the lab for me. And then the lab's going to send me the results in about 2 weeks. And we're going to have a really clear idea of what's going on. If you've got, I'm not diagnosing, but in my clients, typically what we see is if they've got 12 or more food sensitivities, we're presuming that there's some level of dysfunction going on inside the digestive tract, leaky gut, something along those lines, where the digestive tract, the inflammation needs to come down and the whole thing needs to be strengthened. So we're using that test a little bit to give us an idea of what next steps to take, not just in taking the foods out.
wow. That is really cool. Because I'm blown away because I've never heard of like such a comprehensive test being done. But that's awesome because you wouldn't even know if you had a leaky gut
No.
without those tests being done. right?
No, I didn't. And I didn't. And I had horrendous gut pain all of the time. And I did my due diligence. I went and got my colonoscopy done, right? I mean, I had ulcerative colitis when I was 22. So we want to make sure that hasn't turned into anything nasty or unyielding. So I have consistently they are not my favorite thing, but like every 4 or 5 years, I go and get it done, make sure that everything is okay. So I'm doing my due diligence, but they usually come back and say, looks great, no inflammation, doing really well, no sign of ulcerative colitis, because that was being driven by my food sensitivities. So I couldn't understand why I was still having all this gut pain. But once the doctor explained that that was due to leaky gut, and I did castor oil packs as well. It's one of my favorite things to do. I just did one last night. So we can do all of these different things to help support our gut health, but we test and check and see. And when I did my, panel, I've got half a dozen foods on there. There's an indication that something's not quite right with the way the gut is functioning.
Right. And
Yeah.
so do you have any what do you have going on moving forward? Like anything special, like any books you're writing or any workshops you have coming up,
Oh
anything
gosh.
special that you have coming up?
I would love to say that I'm writing a book. I think it's in there somewhere, deep down inside, and I just need to like harness the power of ChatGPT to help pull all my thoughts together because they're always
Right.
running, right?
That's a good one. That's a good one
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
it.
I do have a 12-week program. What I did do just recently
Okay.
was pull together everything that I've learned over these different courses that have taught me, how much protein do you need every single day? What are your healthy sources of protein? We do a whole week's worth of work on protein, and then we meet together to figure out how that applies to you. We look at carbohydrates, we look at hydration, sleep, complementary therapies. At the very beginning, we look at how to clean out your pantry, what to get rid of. There are some people that are just black and white in their um, treatment of folks who are struggling with issues. I
Okay.
don't treat disordered eating, but I don't want to create disordered eating either.
Right.
So we're not going to be so black and white that it's awful. If you've got to have potato chips in the beginning while we're starting and we're cleaning everything up, we're just working on cleaning those things up. So organic potato chips, maybe cooked in avocado oil that stands high heat with a little bit of sea salt instead of a pesticide saturated
Right.
potato cooked in seed oils and with, non-dairy, cheese, whatever
Because it
flavoring
does
on
make a
it,
difference.
chemicals
Those,
and all those
yeah,
things.
oils can be terrible.
Yeah,
Some
yeah. Our
oils are
brain runs on
terrible.
fat. Our brain is 60 to 70% fat. So if you are not giving it the right types of fat, you are starving it from its ability to function. So
Yes.
we look at all of these different pieces in that 12-week program.
Okay. And
Yes.
so is it a you can start the program at any time? Is it a
Yep.
group? Is it one-on-one? What is it?
Yes. So we can do it either way. We can do it
Okay.
as a group if you want to help save some costs. To do it one-on-one is $1,800. And you get like 5 days worth of classes. They're short, 5 to 10 minute classes, all except one on organics because it just needed to be that length. But yeah, 5 to 10 minutes. There's worksheets all the way through. You're going to take away practical information. And then we're going to meet one-on-one, personally, face to face, and talk about what you've gone through, what you've learned, and how it applies to you so that you can practically apply these steps. We spend a whole session going through, you do all the assessments in there, not the lab testing, that's additional. If you want to do it, though,
Right.
you can sign up to do it. So then we just walk through it one on one, and I hold your hand the whole way through. We'll meet every week for 12 weeks. If you need a little break in the middle, then we can do that too. We can be a little bit flexible.
So it sounds like you don't have to have the labs to help someone. Is that correct?
It is correct. You can do it with doing an elimination diet for
Okay.
starters. And one of the tests that it's a symptomology assessment questionnaire. When they come to my office, we talked about testing, but I do symptomology quizzes too. And the nutritional assessment questionnaire has 380 questions in it. And it helps me to look and see which um, body organ system is struggling the most by your
Okay.
symptoms. And so I can start nudging you in the right direction, even if we don't have all of the test answers in front of you. You still make a great deal of progress. I would have to say like 95% of the people I meet are
Hmm.
not eating very clean, don't know how to nourish their bodies. They'll say, I'm eating clean, I'm eating healthy. And I say, tell me what that means to you. Because what your idea of healthy is and what my idea of healthy are two very, very different things.
Right.
And then we can start working on cleaning things up. And usually we see an awful lot of progress in the right direction, just even with the symptomology questionnaires.
And when you say eating clean, because everybody use that term,
Yes.
what do you mean by it?
We are looking to shop the perimeter store, right? So for all you produce on the perimeter.
Wait a minute, you froze.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Wait a minute. Okay, let's ask that question again. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Answer it. Go
Oh,
ahead and
my
answer
internet
from the
connection
beginning.
wobbled.
From the beginning.
Okay.
Go ahead and answer from the beginning.
Okay.
What do you mean by clean?
Yeah, so clean
I'll edit
food.
this part.
Okay, sounds good. All right, healthy eating to me is shopping the perimeter of the store. We want to eat our fruits and vegetables. We want to eat I'm not against veganism or vegetarianism. If we're going to do those things, though, we have to really support you nutritionally, and it has to be super clean in order to make that work for you mentally. I like meat because it is a whole protein. It's very easy. Our body knows how to digest it for the most part. So, meats, fruits, vegetables, healthy fats, nuts and seeds, avocado, things like that, and then olive oil, coconut oil. Those are our healthy fats. And then if you can do breads, then whole, like Ezekiel bread is a great example of a whole
Yes.
grain bread that's sprouted, that is already pre-made, so it's nice and easy to eat. But if you've got a gluten intolerance or you have autoimmune disease, that's not a good plan for you, and we need to figure out something different for you to do. So we're going to do that. But shopping the perimeter of the store is one of the healthiest ways to do that. We're looking for organic. We're looking for grass-fed, wild caught, anything we can do to get as close to nature as we possibly can, the way that God intended us to eat it before it was highly processed and packaged in all kinds of things that um, also disrupt the way that our body works. Right? Canned food, there's a correlated risk between canned food, like canned soup, and developing all kinds of problems like diabetes just
I
because
can
you chose
imagine.
canned food, right? So anything we can do to reduce the plastics, the cans, all of those things, the better. So yeah, we're just working on cleaning things up.
Clean house.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
so if you had, a piece of advice for the audience, what would it be?
I used to start with my delayed food allergy stuff all the time, and it switched and changed when I went through the Academy for Addiction and Mental Health Nutrition. And my first piece of advice to everyone now is it's kind of twofold: protein every 3 hours and reduce your added sugars. I have seen
Protein every 3 hours. Okay.
Yep. And we want about 20 grams of protein at our major meals and about 10 grams of protein at our snacks. And that's going to give us a nice steady blood sugar throughout the day. So it's going to help reduce our volatility, our emotional highs and lows. The symptoms of a panic attack are exactly the same as low blood sugar. So if you've had a drop of blood sugar of 30 points over the course of 6 hours, and I've seen clients do that in 30 minutes, then we can experience the symptoms of a panic attack. So, protein every 3 hours keeps that nice and stable. And then reducing those added sugars, which are hidden in so many things, we want to get down to somewhere between 8 and 16 grams of added sugars per day, less if you can manage it without being legalistic, right, about it.
Right.
So, you're not enjoying life at all. Um, but yeah, we'll just really get those added sugars down because they are so incredibly inflammatory and detrimental to your health.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jane, for coming on
You're very welcome.
and sharing, sharing about that because people need to know about what's going on with their bodies. They is very complex. So I like the comprehensive, detailed, ex- you know, um, assessment that you do because
Hmm.
we all are different and our bodies
Yes.
react different
Hmm.
to different things. And so it's good that you do that. And to the audience, I would just say if you know someone who is struggling with their health and want to know what's going on with their gut, have them reach out to Jayne so that they can act. And she has a 12-week program so they can join the program and find out what's going on with you. It's a great thing to do. And, and also subscribe and share. As you know, I always have amazing people on to help you grow and learn and deal with your mental health and well-being. We'll have a happy Monday. And thank you for listening.
It's your time to shine, your journey to chart. Coach Rice wisdom will heal every heart. So join us now, let's make life suffice. Welcome to Mondays with Coach Rice.